and then it comes into a very, very flat bottom boat, which effectively has rails either side.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Aram and we are here at the Spring Training Camp 2019. Gorgeous early spring day, roughly 15 degrees, pure sunshine, flat water. It's almost too cheesy to be true. I'm here with Pete Spivey. Pete Spivey is the Austrian rep for Nelo, and this is my chance to talk about a boat design that for me is truly revolutionary. I'm not paid by Nelo, I'm not affiliated to Nelo in any way. It's about a new design that really interests me because I think Nelo is doing a couple things in a very different way and it's a big company behind it. But before we talk more, let me welcome Pete Spivey and let him explain what it's all about. Pete, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Aaron.
Pete, you're a British coach in Austria. You came here 2009?
Correct, that's right. Yeah, I've been here 10 years, immediately got into the rowing scene in Austria and the European Masters scene.
Yeah.
Doing the Euro Masters, World Masters. It's quite convenient when you live in Austria. Okay, and then
Let me get the rails.
This flat bottom will create lift in the boat, which helps maintain the acceleration of the boat and the propellant.
Really? Okay.
And therefore maintain the acceleration. Okay.
Everything below this part is in the water, always.
Yeah, so we keep the bows in the water. You don't want the bows to be jumping out of the water, okay? Because that will create friction underneath here.
Okay.
With the water as the hull touches the water, it creates friction, or water resistance rather. Okay. So the front of the boat will slice through the water, and then it comes into a very, very flat bottom boat, which effectively has rails either side.
I'm ready, everybody.
This flat bottom will create lift in the boat, which helps maintain the acceleration of the boat and the propellant.
Really? Okay. Interesting things they thought about when designing it. See, that's the interesting thing, guys. Nelo is not a small company. It's been around for nearly 40 years, producing kayaks. It's a big name in the kayak industry. One of the biggest boat builders for kayaks. And you've been to their factory.
I have. It's very impressive.
They're serious about this.
Very serious, yeah.
What was your impression when you were there?
Well, the scale of it was impressive. So you can definitely rely on their boat building skills. They know what they're doing.
The reason why I want to talk about Nelo is they have a lot of experience building kayaks, and there are similarities between kayaking and rowing, and there are differences. For example, a kayak will constantly have a stumpy motion, so it's always going up and down as a whole shape. Now the rowing boat usually tilts back and forth. This is a difference. On the other hand side, this using a bit of that kayak principle could actually make boats faster. Could. We're talking about the sharp edges here. So there's a pretty actually, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is like rectangular almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. If I turn the boat over, Aaron, so you can see how flat it is. The front section up to where you sit. Okay, it's really flat.
Ooh,
really flat.
This is flat indeed.
Okay, and this creates lift. Therefore, it creates less water resistance.
So to recap the stern and the center of the boat, so as flat as it was, the bow, with this almost rectangular drop shape form, like a triangle almost, it becomes pretty conventional around the center of the boat. And then it starts to become gradually flat. So this is where we have that almost, that flat bottom again of the hull, and this is where it's almost like a rectangle.
Yeah, but it's typically, because when you come forward, obviously your weight's moving to the stern of the boat. Yeah. And the last thing you want is the boat to be diving into the water and creating more drag and more resistance. So the hull drops off, comes out of the water. It stays in the water, but it doesn't dive into the water as much as you would get on a conventional design single scull. So it's very stable.
Pete, if I understand that right, that flat surface towards the bow, towards the stern, its main purpose is to prevent that vertical stumpy motion which occurs in rowing.
So you want to avoid huge rocking, and you want to avoid the bouncing. We've all seen people going off the start and the waves coming out from the side of the boat. I mean, you've got to avoid that as much as possible. It's impossible to get rid of it totally, but you need to avoid it. And this is what Nelo have come up with. And I think the kayaks, their experience with the kayaks has enabled them to think a little bit differently than conventional boat builders, and therefore they've done something different that people are looking at and going, oh, that's interesting. And now they're starting to do the trials. They've got some really interesting people testing the boats, and they're getting some really positive results. And it's all looking very good.
I know what it's like to build up a company from scratch. It's not easy. I'm talking about the fin. It's a carbon fin, and you just said before a lot of people will bark at the design. It's too steep. It's too. You might catch weeds. So
they're a little bit interchangeable. So at the moment there are 3 fin designs.
There are 3 different ones.
Yeah, you go around the world. People row on lakes. They row on rivers. They row on canals, the Danube. And you get different types of weed. You get weed that's floating on the surface, weed that's attached to the bottom. And so there are lots of different things you have to think about when you're designing a fin.
Okay.
It may just be a fin, but it's actually quite important. So on a lake, you don't have so much weed, so you have a much taller fin that goes deeper into the water. It's much thinner. On a river, this is a river fin, and then there's an all-round, all-purpose fin, which is much bigger. Which the way I row, I feel it's about much the same as the river fin. In fact, I can get them out of the bag actually.
That's pretty thin. That fin is thin. Very nice.
What you don't want to do is row with that Henry. Because the weed just doesn't come off.
Yeah, talking about Henley, which fin would you recommend for Henley?
This one. The weed slides off it, and it works. But you wouldn't want to use that one at Henley Regatta when you can potentially get a piece of weed on it.
Yeah.
But if you're in the middle of a lake in the middle of Austria, like I am, then this one's perfect. You don't get hardly any weed, and so it's not an issue. And then they've got this one, which is effectively a multi-purpose one. And if you look carefully here, it's got the same angle as this one, but it's a bigger fin, a little bit more stability, I suppose. And I've only tested this one twice now. It's a very good fin, but my favourite is this one. This is the river fin. And I'm just going to leave this one on even for the lake, to be honest. I love it.
Okay, Pete, let's talk about the interior. That's a pretty rough stern. Look at that. Wow.
Precision.
That's also like a rectangle on the top. Wow. And these lines.
It's a very beautiful boat.
Yeah.
And there are many designs for it as well. You can have a single colour like this one in this green, and I believe there's about 20 different RAL colours you can use to do various other designs. They have standard designs, but you can also employ 3 designers to come up with other designs that can be integrated into the gel coat finish to make an amazing looking boat.
What's that?
That's the bottle holder. So
is it included?
Yeah, that comes with the boat.
Oh, really?
I've got a Nelo bottle, which is in my rucksack somewhere. But yeah, this is quite good. It just sits there nicely, and it stops the water bottle flapping around, which is really useful. Obviously, when you're racing, you don't want these banging noises all the time, which is really irritating.
That's pretty detailed. It's almost freaky.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like it as well.
How do you adjust the foot stretches? Okay, I see you need a wrench.
Yeah, easy. So basically, yeah, you just got to use your 10mm, undo that obviously, and it just slides backwards and forwards.
So you could do it in a boat?
Yeah, you can do it in the boat. You can just change these to wing nuts if you want to, and you can do it that way. But yeah, it's very easily adjustable. Make a fantastic club boat. The actual sort of cockpit area, as I like to call it, for me is the most comfortable I've ever rowed in. Because of this really, the fact that the runners are very far apart, and so when you have your feet relatively low, if you're having difficulty getting forward and getting to a really decent catch position, then you don't get any bite in the calf muscles and blood everywhere.
That's something
so
interesting.
Very far apart. It's good.
I just realized what this is. Check this out. This is not a standard roller.
No, this is the original boats they did from Nelo. They made this carbon, but they've changed relatively quickly back into an aluminium.
But just the profile. It's a positive profile.
The
not
profile.
A negative one.
Well, if you look at the wheels, they're negative. So obviously, cleaning is not so much of an issue. Obviously, you have to clean it, but you're not unlikely to get stuff trapped into the slide.
And that seat pad, is it already included?
No. This is my preference, so I put the seat pad on.
Okay. Usually it's a standard carbon seat.
This is a carbon seat. It's a very comfortable seat.
Okay.
The reason I put this on is because this is a demonstration boat, and you know, I want to show the carbon seat off, basically.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's very
okay. Okay. So this is okay.
These are fully adjustable, obviously, through the hatch.
Yeah, that's the standard procedure to do it.
Yep.
All right.
And then you've got your carbon back rigger.
So this is how you mount them. Okay, not the standard thing.
Yeah, this is a prototype for this particular boat. This is an optional extra, no extra cost. But the standard boat will come with the rigger actually attached onto the deck with different hold positions for you to put it. But this was something they thought would be a good idea for a club boat, for instance. So it's easily adjustable.
I think most teams would want to adjust this.
Yeah.
It is a whole different ballgame where the rigger's position.
You can also adjust the angle.
Oh, really?
And dip it down if you've got rigger height issues. Say if you wanted to get somebody who was totally underweight to a 75 kilogram boat, you can, just for fun, you can drop the riggers down and they can row nicely.
Okay.
No problem.
Talking about pitching, how do you do this?
This is obviously the Concept 2 setup.
Yeah.
Pin is vertical. Okay. So you've just got 4 degree, the standard 4 degrees. But the way you can also do it is with lateral pitch. Mm-hmm. So if you look here, there's a bolt here, and you loosen this off, you attach that bolt at the top, and it gives you a lateral pitch, which will give you a 5 degree catch and about 2 degrees at the finish, basically, if you've got a 4-4 insert in there, or bushing as some people like to call them.
So let me hear it again. So how? Okay, so this nut is attached to this one.
Yes.
So you can actually.
So you can create lateral pitch. So the pin can then lean out. So when the pin leans out, because you come round to like a 70 degree catch angle, okay, then you'll get like a 5 degree catch, mm-hmm. which will mean you're less likely to dive too far into the water. And because generally people who row these boats are pretty good at rowing, you'll be able to hold a slightly, when you come this way and yours going there, you'll have about a 2 degree pitch at the finish. But if you're a good rower, you're holding it nicely and keeping it all connected at the finish. So it actually creates this sort of safe way of rowing where you don't dive too deep at the catch. So that's that. This is also adjustable. I like these a lot. These are just with an Allen key. You lift this up and down. So that means you don't need your plastic inserts.
Which always get stolen.
Yeah, I mean the reason.
No, it get lost politically correct.
Yeah,
they get lost.
They ping off, don't they?
They ping off. Yeah.
And I've got these ones on here because this is the demo boat and a lot of people test the boat.
Okay, so
but if it was my personal preference, I would just set it to my height if it was my private boat.
Okay.
I like it. It's a really good system.
Okay. Very good.
There are other.
Yeah, something I realized. Sorry. This says Thomas Lange.
Thomas Lange. He's the German. I believe he was the single scull world champion or Olympic champion.
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's also the same age as me, and he's on the masters scene, so that's not too good, is it? But yeah, these are the standard shoes that come with the boat, and I believe that shoes are incredibly important in a single scull or any type of rowing boat.
Why does it say Thomas Lange? Is he associated with Nelo?
No, he's not associated with Nelo. This is just the shoes that they've chosen. So this Thomas Lange shoes are the standard shoes that come with the boat. But if you want to use the Shimano shoes with the click system and things like that, then obviously those options are all available for a slightly elevated price. Okay, so you've got many shoe options because people have different preferences. So that's not an issue. But I would say that anybody buying a boat should get good shoes that they're very, very comfortable with, because it helps with the feeling and the connection.
I didn't know that Thomas Lange makes shoes, rowing shoes.
Well, he does, yeah.
Pete, how can people get in contact with you in Austria?
That's easy. I mean, the best thing to do if you want to contact somebody with Nelo is to contact them in Portugal via email. They'll get back to you and they'll tell you which agents are in which countries. So basically just about the whole of Europe is covered. South Africa, America.
America is covered?
America, they've got an agent in America, yeah.
Oh really? Where's he based?
In Florida, I do believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they came to Turin.
So you guys in the US, if you want to try out the Nelo in America, it's there's somebody in Florida. So Pete just said the best way to get in contact with the right rep for you is contact Nelo directly.
And they'll put you in touch with the correct agent for your country.
Okay, guys, I want to leave it right there. And
hang on, I think we should talk about what they do, the other range of boats, because they do a 65, a 75, a 90, 105.
Which other boats are they building?
Well, like I said before, this is the 75. They have a 65.
65, okay.
Which will go down, so you can row it if you're 55 kilo up to 70 kilo, and then they'll have a.
That's a pretty wide range.
Yeah, this is the 75 boat, and so if you're 70 kilos up to 85, and then they'll have a 90, which will take you up to 100 kilos, and they've just developed the 105 kilo boat, which is Stuart Innes from the Great Britain team, GB team, has been developing the boat with Nelo, and he's had a lot of fun doing it, and that's coming out right now, the 105, and that'll be at the World Cups. If you want to go and have a look at it, if you're going to the World Cups, the full range of boats will be at the World Cups.
Oh, okay. So Nelo's pretty active in
yeah,
marketing.
and we've got double sculls, 75 kilo and 90 kilo double sculls. You can have a double scull, which you can do sweep rowing and double scull.
Oh, a convertible.
So, yeah, so you're kind of like getting two boats in one.
Okay.
That's pretty good. And they've just developed this year. They brought the first 4 out.
Will it also be convertible?
The 4 is at the moment just a sculling, but it will be convertible.
Will be, okay.
And they are also doing an 8.
They're working on the first 8.
Yeah, but the 4 and the 8, they are beautiful boats. The 8 will be a beautiful boat. I've seen the mould for it and everything. And the 4 will be they're more of a conventional hull shape, because the lifting effect of the hull that you get on a double scull and a single scull is greater if you have the flat hull. But when you have a heavy boat like a 4 or an 8, then you're really relying on the momentum and the weight of the boat to keep that acceleration going, and so therefore the unusual design has less of an effect. Okay, so they're more of a conventional shape.
Just to clarify this once more, I'm not affiliated with Nelo, so I'm doing this because I'm interested in the shape. I'm interested in innovations in rowing. And if you guys from Philippi, Empacher, Hudson, watching this, and you think, hey, Arm should talk about our boats as well, please contact me. It's info@armtraining.com. I'll be absolutely happy and delighted to talk about your boats as well. Good. Peter, thank you very much.
Right. Thanks, Aaron,
for your detailed explanation. Very cool product. All the best for Austria.
Thank you.
And looking forward to see you guys soon. Bye-bye.